Hello, my name is Ben Kreimer. I'm a journalism technologist from the US. I could not be there in person with you all today. I'm actually working on a project in the South Pacific right now, but I've prepared a video presentation showing some of the work that I've been doing over the past few years, bringing together emerging technologies like drones, 360-degree video, and 3D virtual reality. So my focus has really been on emerging technologies for immersive and spatial storytelling, and I've been exploring this area using accessible, simple, and relatively inexpensive tools that you can use now. And I like to emphasize that because I think that it's important to convey the fact that the projects that I'm going to show and the tools that I'm using, anybody can get their hands on, and they are relatively inexpensive. I am an independent journalism technologist. I've worked with a range of media companies, universities, different kinds of projects, and using these tools. So I really focus on drones, 360 video, spatial audio, 3D virtual reality, and also augmented reality. And I'm interested in how these different mediums and these tools can come together and be used to tell old stories from a new or different perspective, for telling stories that we could not tell before, immersing the viewer into experiences and spaces, so bringing audiences into environments, into stories through 360 video, through 3D virtual reality. And through that, letting people explore and engage with the content in ways that were not possible before with video, with photographs, and with text. So I've worked on a range of projects with universities, in wildlife conservation. I've got Vice News up there, CCTV Africa. I was hired to be the beta fellow for the BuzzFeed Open Lab for Journalism, Technology, and the Arts in San Francisco back in summer of 2015. That fellowship ended about a year ago, and since then I've been working independently with a range of different projects. Right now I'm working in the South Pacific with the Australian government and the Innovation Exchange, working on figuring out how to best use virtual reality as an educational tool and as a medium for development work and for education, like I said. Early on, my work really focused on drones, right when consumer drones became available. So back about a year ago, actually, at the National Seminar on Photojournalism in Jaipur, my work in India was recognized. This is work that I was doing back in 2013. I was traveling with a drone and working on different projects, including working with the Times of India, covering, for example, a football tournament in the city of Baroda in Gujarat, as you can see here in this spread. Also done a lot of work in East Africa, wildlife conservation, CCTV News out of Nairobi, working with African Skycam, trying to figure out, and this is earlier work, figuring out how drones specifically can best be leveraged by journalists for adding that kind of context to stories, for providing those aerial perspectives, showing the landscape, whoever's down there, whether it's elephants or humans or structures, showing the world from a radically different perspective and showing how we can democratize the air using drones. This here is a photo of my toolkit that I've been using most recently, and you can see here we've got 360-degree video cameras. I've got a still Lumix camera, micro four thirds. I've got a custom built that I made 180-degree 3D video camera in the bottom right hand corner that consists of two Kodak SP360 4K cameras. I've got binaural mics. The two drones, the one on the left, the dark gray drone, is a DJI Mavic Pro that I've outfitted with custom-made 360-degree video camera mounts, also for the Kodak SP360 4K cameras. Also doing ambisonic spatial audio work with the Zoom H2N. But here, this is 3D storytelling. So we can use a drone to produce aerial video, obviously. But we can also use a drone to create 3D models of environments and landscapes. So this here is a temple site, a temple excavation on the southern coast of Turkey. And I've been working with these archaeologists for the past about 4 years, and each summer I go and document the site with a drone, taking lots of photographs. And from those photographs, I'm able to produce 3D VR models of their excavations. So this here is a 3D model that's being hosted by Sketchfab, which is like YouTube but for 3D content. And Sketchfab also supports VR goggles, and they also have augmented reality support with their mobile device apps. And of course, Sketchfab is also social media friendly, so you can embed 3D models into Facebook news feeds, into Twitter feeds as well. So it's a really powerful 3D storytelling tool for the web and for mobile devices and for different platforms, from social media to web articles. The content's easily embeddable, and of course it's mobile device friendly. So emerging technologies work well together. So drones can be used to produce 3D virtual reality environments. This here is that same temple site that we just saw in Sketchfab, but now there's a person wearing HTC Vive goggles, and they're walking around in the VR environments that have been produced using photos captured by a drone, and only about 160 photos. Each of these 3D models, each of these 3D environments, has been produced by 200 or fewer photos. And what you see right here is that exact same 3D model, that exact same 3D environment that you just saw 10 seconds ago in 3D VR. Now it's in augmented reality, and it's being overlaid in my backyard on my iPad. And so you can see here that that exact same file that the drone created using photogrammetry is useful both in a virtual reality and an augmented reality context. So drones are a great tool for producing VR environments. And you can do that using the photogrammetry process. So photogrammetry, there's a lot of resources online, but it's basically a process where you take a lot of photographs and you stitch them together using software that's designed for that purpose. So these days I'm using Autodesk Recap Pro and also Agisoft PhotoScan Standard. There's also drone-specific photogrammetry software, including Drone Deploy and Pix4D. And to produce those VR experiences that are 3D VR, you're getting into game territory, game development territory. So using the Unity game engine and also the Unreal Engine. I used Unity to produce that HTC Vive VR experience. Now we're going back to East Africa, to Nairobi specifically. This is the Dandora landfill, and this is aerial video that I shot back in 2014 using a DJI Phantom 2 drone, again off-the-shelf hardware, using a GoPro to shoot the video specifically. And I was brought in to work on a video documentary about people who survive off the trash that they find and sell in the landfill. So to capture the scale of the landfill, the drone was a great tool to shoot that aerial video. But I also created a reconstruction of the landfill. And it's quite large. It's about 1 kilometer long. And using that photogrammetry process, I was able to create this 3D model, which is here in a screen recording of me flying around the model in Sketchfab. So you can see that there's a school in the landfill, and these annotations, the number 2, the number 1 is actually where people live in the landfill. Number 3 is another school. So this 3D model gives people, you, the audience, the opportunity to explore the space, explore the environment, to immerse yourself in ways that the video that I shot with the drone falls short. So 3D storytelling, even if it's not in VR goggles, is a powerful way to transport people into environments and into spaces and into stories. Now on the 360 video front, when I started at BuzzFeed in the Open Lab as a fellow in the summer of 2015, I got into 360 video right away, and specifically on drones and low-cost drones, using this drone here. which includes 2 GoPro cameras, which I've modified with aftermarket lenses. And the plans, if you wanted to build this, you could actually go to buzzfeed.com/Ben Kreimer, where I documented all my projects. But basically, this drone allowed for 360 video capture from the air, and it's a backpack drone. It's accessible, relatively inexpensive, and it works. And the video that we produced for BuzzFeed's first ever 360 video story got over 6 million views. And it was done using 3D printed camera mounts and little aftermarket modifications to the drone. This is the story that we did. It's about a giant forest fire that happened 2 years ago in California. You might have heard of the fire that's been happening in California recently, and it's a similar area. But this was another large fire, another large area that burned. And we used the 360 drone to access spaces that were too dangerous for us reporters to go. So here you can see the drone is flying over a burned out structure. This used to be a house, and it's just too dangerous for people. Even the people wearing hazmat suits, hazardous material suits, they're not even walking over much of these areas. So the drone is a great way to access inaccessible spaces, and not only to fly up high. So you can do spatial access, low to the ground, and then also do higher up shots. Here's the revised version of that 360 video drone, applying the principles of frugal innovation and using foam and cable ties to attach those GoPro cameras. The reason that I redesigned the rig was so that the drone now disappears from the 360 video. As you saw a moment ago, the drone was in the shot. Well, now in the 360 video, the drone disappears completely. And I'm using Kodak SP360 4K cameras to do this. And you can actually buy the camera mounts that I've designed. You can go to shapeways.com, to the link here, and you can buy them, and Shapeways will ship you my camera mounts. They ship internationally, and you can buy with your credit card. It's a really nice, easy to use process. But if you want to build your own 360 video drone, you can do so. Now, an example of that drone in action with those mounts is right here. This here is a 360 video story I did with the Desert Sun, with journalism in the USC Annenberg, and it's a series of stories about the Salton Sea in Southern California, which is an environmental disaster area. So here we've got the drone shot, using my drone setup. There's the Salton Sea from space. So this is what the footage looks like coming off of my most recent version of the 360 drone. So it's seamless. It's seamless 360 video. And this kind of progression really gets at the challenges and also the developments around these kinds of emerging storytelling platforms. A lot of these tools, whether it's the 360 video drone, the photogrammetry process, they're still kind of rudimentary. They're not perfect, they're not refined, but they're definitely accessible. You can build your tools, or you can use tools that are available already. There's an amazing range of hardware out there that you can use, as well as software. So at this point, I'm really trying to encourage people to go out and explore the tools that are available and see how they can fit your needs and the stories that you're telling. You know, they're not going to be perfect. There are quirks involved, but the tools that are available allow you to do some amazing forms of visual and immersive spatial storytelling, regardless of the medium that you choose, whether it's augmented reality, 3D virtual reality, 360 video. You can mix and match these mediums too. So really the biggest challenge is just figuring out what tool set you're going to use and what tools you're going to use and how you're going to bring them together. But there are, in the drone space specifically, there are regulations globally in different countries that make it difficult to do drone work. So that is an issue that everybody in the drone space is hoping is going to improve, and it continues to show steady signs of improvement as time goes on. But regulations aside, when it gets into 3D VR, 360 video, AR, there's so much that you can do, whether it's with a drone or not. So I encourage you to go out, check out photogrammetry, check out some of these tools that I shared. If you have questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Check out my website, benkreimer.com, for more project examples. And check me out on Twitter. I share these examples, these projects, as well as resources that I come across and that I produce. So, good luck. Thanks for having me. I wish I could have been there in person, but thanks for watching this little presentation, and let's be in touch.